Hey, you're listening to Stop the Scroll, a social media marketing podcast, and I'm your host, Heidi Schmidt. I'm a social media strategist and agency owner with over 15 years of marketing experiences helping businesses grow online. We'll be diving into what you need to know so that you can show up confidently online without the overwhelm. Get your notebook ready to jot down some amazing marketing gems, and let's dive into it. Welcome back to another episode of Stop the Scroll. I am your host, Heidi Schmidt, and today I was inspired to have this conversation. I was in a board meeting recently, and we were talking about Google reviews. And I feel like we don't talk about why Google reviews are so important. Like, everyone knows inherently, I need to care about Google reviews, but we always seem to forget about them. So we're going to talk about why they matter so much, how you can capture them, because I don't know about you all, but I am really terrible about asking for reviews from clients. Inherently awful, but they are really, really important. So, a little backstory. I sit on the board of directors for my local business association, and we have a committee that is a shop local committee. And our mission with that committee, I don't usually sit on it, but after our last board meeting, I happened to be there kind of finishing up a couple things. So I was like, oh, let me sit down on this meeting and pipe in when I have something to say. So people on the committee had the idea of hey, how can we highlight reviews about our local member businesses and highlight those in our newsletter and everything? And I was like, well, why don't you just educate them on Google reviews? Why don't you just encourage people to leave a Google review? Because that's going to be more valuable than us getting a review from a member who worked with another member organization when really there's no value to us having it. We want to give them the education that they need to really capture Google reviews, because Google reviews are kind of everything when it comes to especially local SEO and that trust validator and all of the fun things that we need to help our business show up better online, right? Online reputation is everything. And if you're not leveraging Google reviews for your business, you're probably missing out on some significant business opportunities, especially if you work with local businesses. So let's talk a little bit about why they matter so much to local SEO. So we know that 90% of customers read reviews before they're going to visit a business. And we also know, thank you, Bright Local, that businesses with 10 or more reviews have about 37 more views than those with fewer reviews. And when I say views, I mean you're more likely to show up in the little sidebar of Google. When someone's searching for, pizza place near me, it lists out all of the options near you. It has the little Google map thing. But the ones with more reviews are going to show up first. There is a thing, especially in local search, the near me search matters so much. And, you've probably used them and you don't understand, using a near me, hair salon near me, or the other day I used manicure near me, but it was 6:30 at night. So I wanted to find one that wasn't closing at 7. I'm very last minute when it comes to those things. I am the opposite of a planner when it comes to my own self-care, let me tell you. But I broke 2 nails last week and it was a disaster. So near me searches really help signify to Google a user's intent to find something near them. And this is why, your location tracker thing on your browser should be on. We won't even get into that. But research does show that over 80% of mobile near me searches result in a store visit within a day. So when it comes to optimizing for that near me search, you want to have your Google My Business profile completed with location accuracy, especially if you have a physical location. And you want to start collecting those Google reviews, because businesses with higher ratings and more reviews are going to show up higher in those near me searches, particularly those with keywords and phrases relevant to the search. And this is why keyword research is super, super important. Understanding how people are finding you, looking through your Google Analytics, looking through all that to find how people are finding you and optimizing for those words. We also know, we don't have to go through the whole trust thing. We know that reviews just add that level of authenticity and reassure prospects, potential customers, whatever you want to call them, especially when businesses respond to those reviews. Good or bad, you need to respond. And we're going to talk a little bit about that in a couple of minutes, but make sure you're responding. There is something called Google's review score, which basically calculates the average review score for each business. This is usually displayed out of 5 stars, and it's an aggregate of all the Google reviews. So if you have, all 5-star reviews, good on you. You're going to show up as 5 stars. But that review score directly impacts how trustworthy Google views your business to users. So 4.5 stars or higher usually gives those prospects, those searchers, a greater sense of security. And I'll be honest, I don't usually go to things with less than 3 stars. Don't even get me started on hotels. Though my husband is super loyal to Marriott, so 9 times out of 10, we're going to go with Marriott, even if it's out of the way. Even if I'm but this one has a water slide. He's going to be all find a Marriott. Brand loyalty is a very big deal. So now that we kind of understand the importance of Google reviews, how do we get them? So typically it would be after a customer. There are lots of ways, and if you want me to help you automate how to create these emails that ask for reviews, I am happy to through my consulting packages. We can discuss this. Absolutely. Reach out to me. I'm happy to discuss. There are lots of ways to kind of automate, especially if you're an e-commerce or if you're a service-based business. There are great ways to automate asking for reviews after you work with someone when their experience is still fresh in their mind. You don't want to feel pushy though. So hey, we were so happy to serve you. We'd love your feedback on your experience with us. If you were super happy, leave a Google review. You don't even need to reply to this email. Give us your feedback. And if it's good feedback, you can also reply back with a thank you so much. We'd love it if you left a Google review. If it's less than stellar feedback, thank you so much for the feedback. Don't send them to your Google review page. You want to be strategic. You also want to make it easy to leave reviews. Having a link directly to your Google review page in follow-up emails, or if you're one of those text-based marketers, you could also leave a review there. But capitalizing on that end of service time period is really, really ideal. I've had people ask me before, what about incentives? Can I give a discount if they leave a review? Ideally, no. You should not. Google's guidelines prohibit incentivizing reviews, so don't do that. This means you should not be offering discounts, gifts, or other rewards in exchange for reviews. Quote, Google aims to ensure that reviews are genuine and unbiased reflections of customer experiences. So don't do that. It can also lead to penalties, review removal, takedown of your Google My Business profile, and even removal from local search results. So just don't incentivize. Nope. And it's funny because I've definitely recently gotten emails being here's the difference. Here's a difference. If you have, say, a retail location and you want reviews left on your products, I think incentivizing, hey, leave a review on our website of that specific product that you ordered and get, points or discount on your next order. I've seen emails like that, but I've never seen anyone specifically incentivize me. So just don't incentivize people. It's not worth the risk. Let people be authentic. And if you're finding hey, our service people are trash, maybe there's some internal handlings that you need to take care of. When it comes to responding to reviews, typically businesses, according to review trackers, Businesses who respond to reviews increase that customer trust by about 76%. So there is a high importance to responding not only to negative reviews, because obviously you want that feedback. It's really good to get that feedback to fix any internal processes that might need fixing. And obviously, like getting positive reviews, you want to respond to those like, thank you so much. We're so glad that you had a great experience. We can't wait to serve you again soon, whatever. Share those with your team. It improves morale. I definitely try to share good client feedback with my team. I know for me, like words of affirmation are my love language. Tell me I'm doing a good job. So share them with your team. And also, like, here's how we incorporate it into our social media strategy. Let's take those reviews and let's repurpose them. You can turn those positive reviews into visual posts or quotes on social media, showing that real client feedback, but also like more so than just the feedback. I recently saw something on Instagram that was like, stop sharing testimonials like this. We're like this. And I'm like, well, I don't remember how it actually said to share them, but more so than just sharing testimonials, like if you're a service-based business and sharing testimonials, you want to show the results. What did you do for them? So like me, I would share it like, oh, hey, client ABC had great feedback about the team and working with us. And by the way, over 6 months, we grew her following by 20%, blah, blah, blah. We increased her profile visits on Instagram by 250%, whatever it was, I would also share that. Or I would share screenshots of those kind of results as a validator. Because more so, like anyone can say, oh, I had a great experience working with Heidi Schmidt Creative. Like, more so than that, people want case studies. People want to see what are the results that you're going to get from me. So if you're a service-based provider, like think about it that way. Like absolutely share the reviews, but more so like also share what you did for them. For instance, I'm going to tell a little story here. Over the summer, our hot water heater died. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. It died a slow, painful death. It started in June. We ended up having to replace it by July. Like hot water it was scalding for about a month. Like it was bad news bears. A friend of ours tried to help us fix it. We tried to replace the elements. And then one night, like we went downstairs to grab a drink from our now dead beer fridge. And there was water, just water. So we called around, we got some prices. We had started that process and literally like the thing died probably like 2 days before the guy was scheduled to come out and replace it. If I was my water company who treated it, and they also fixed our water treatment thing because our water softener also died the same week, which has resulted in, let me tell you, hard water is the flippin' pits. It's the pits. Like, I need someone to just wash my hair once a week. Which I've been doing, not gonna lie. When I have events, like I go up to our local hair cuttery and they do a bang up job for a blowout for like $30. It's fantastic and I love them. I digress. I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent here. Sorry. But had I been my water company, I would have been like, I don't remember if we did leave a review. Maybe I should go back and do that. But say I had left a review like, so and so is great. They came out, they were super friendly, experts, great to work with, love their recommendations. They're true experts on the water here on the Pasadena Peninsula because we got shitty water all up and down. And when you're on well water, it's a whole other beast. So if you have public water, like, just thank your lucky stars. Anyhow, if I was them, I would have taken that, oh, so-and-so's hot water heater broke. They realized that they were using the wrong water treatment system that wasn't really doing much for their water and removing minerals from it. So we hooked them up with blah, blah, blah water treatment and a new hot water heater. They were super happy with also my testimonial, little case study. I don't know, but using that for social proof because one, it shares their expertise. Like, hey, they know the area. They're the guys that you want to call in this area. And like, they need to be your go-to. They were recommended to us by a friend because that's how you find all your service people, right? You get recommendations. I typically will go ask in Facebook groups for recommendations for like plumbers, all that kind of stuff, because the moms know. The moms know everything. And then I'll look them up on Google and I'll look up their socials and I'll do that as kind of a validator. And then we'll, call, get a quote, whatever we need to do. That's my buying process. I don't know what yours all is. I would love to hear it though. Like, how's your process for choosing local-based service provider people? Anyhow, leaving reviews allows businesses to create social proof. It allows them to showcase the work that they're doing. This is why I tell all my clients, like, you should be getting pictures. I've spoken to many kind of service providers, and there is something to be said about also like the before and afters. Like if you're a plumber or if you're like a gutter guy, like take the before and afters. Use those high impact quotes from reviews in your posts. You can also use them if you have a really great review, like pin it to the top of your profile, especially if you know that so many of your people look at reviews before they come to you. And you should be asking, if this is your business, like whether you're a therapist, whether you're a healthcare provider, whether you are the local plumber, or whether you are a coach, everyone should know how they get their customers. How do customers find you? Whether it's social media, whether it's word of mouth, like how are people finding you? And I'm going to go on a little bit of a tirade here. There are lots of people. I have had clients that I worked with who were like, well, I didn't get any clients from social media. Lies. Lies. You know how I know that? Because oftentimes people might hear about you from word of mouth. However, they're going to go to your social media profile and validate you. Consider it a validator. Like maybe you don't get customers from social media. Maybe you do. Maybe they find you on social media and then they ask around. And then when they finally call you to set up that appointment, they're like, oh, a friend told me about you. I had a client that she had told me, this was a former client of mine. She had told me, I don't think I get any clients from social media. And I actually went through because her client management system like auto fed into MailChimp. And then we like went from MailChimp to another email service provider. And so I exported her list and I kind of went through and it was like 20% of her clients said social media or Instagram as how they heard about her. So you may think that clients don't find you on social media, but chances are they do. You're just not asking the right questions. Maybe they're going to say Google because maybe that was the last thing that they did before they called you. They Googled you. So don't discredit social media helping you find clients because people will look at your social media profile to validate you. They will look there for social proof that you're good at what you do, that you know what you're talking about. So use reviews in your social media because not everyone's going to look you up on Google, but they still want that trust builder, right? So in conclusion, Google reviews matter. They matter so deeply. Have a strategy to capture them. If you're not asking for them over email, send an email today to ask for Google reviews. Hey, it's been a while. We hope you're happy. Wanted to stay top of mind. Here's a blog post we put out. By the way, if you've worked with us recently, did you leave a Google review? And I challenge all of you listeners today to go forth and leave a Google review for the last business that you worked with that just wowed you. I have a list of like 20 businesses that I need to go leave Google reviews for, but they are so, so important, especially if you're local and you work mostly with local people. So that's my challenge to you today. We know that Google reviews help build trust, that's social proof. We know that 90% of consumers read online reviews, so they matter, especially when it comes to the decision-making process. We know that local businesses tend to rank higher in those local near me searches. So you definitely want to have a strategy to capture Google reviews. We also know that it's a trust signal. It builds trust and they should be shared on your social media accounts. we know that nearly 80% of customers are influenced by reviews when making decisions. So make sure that yours are up to snuff. Make sure you've responded to them, even if it's a late response, like 6 months later, like, hey, thank you so much for this review. So sorry it took us so long to send a thank you. We look forward to serving you again. It doesn't have to be long. It can just be a hey, thanks. And we know that for service-based businesses, Google reviews extend the power of the word of mouth recommendations. And everyone, it's free marketing, one, but having those shared, especially the positive experiences, can bring in those new leads without you dropping a penny. We all want to get new customers with very little effort, right? Everyone's too busy for marketing. They just all come to me, and when they stop, flocking to you, you got to make a change. So Google Local and having reviews, having an optimized Google My Business profile is probably one of the most efficient and inexpensive marketing things that you can do for your business outside of, actually posting on social media regularly, which I highly encourage, and we are happy to help take that on. But don't underestimate the power of having a strategy for your Google reviews and having a strategy to share those on your social media profiles and all that fun stuff. It's cost effective, it's authentic, and it's a really, really powerful way to build that credibility and convert those prospects into clients. Make sure it's easy for them to leave reviews. So make sure you're linking to your Google My Business page in multiple places. And if you need some support, we are currently accepting consulting clients and strategy sessions. I'm happy to chat with you about this in a strategy session. And if you haven't scheduled a strategy session, it's basically a 90-minute ask me anything. Hey, I'm here to help work through your problems. And in the meantime, if you love this podcast, please leave me a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. And connect with me on @HeidiSchmidtCreative on Instagram, Facebook, and I'm on LinkedIn, but it's my personal profile, but I am happy to connect with people there. So in the meantime, go forth, create amazing content, create amazing experiences for your customers so that they leave reviews that also stop the scroll. Until next time.